Hi everyone, how's it going? I'm Elias, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my BA BookCon haul, a little bit of my experience this year at the expo hall, and just overall thoughts. First off, before I get started, I want to take a moment to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Yeet. So if you guys didn't know what Skillshare is about, it's basically an online community for creators where they have literally over 30,000 videos pertaining to business, entertainment, design, art, and so much more. I didn't realize how much creative content that they have, and they're all extremely helpful. I watched a couple videos on color grading within Premiere Pro, which this video. I also want to watch other videos and just utilizing Premiere Pro in general because that is what I have. As well as being a graphic designer myself, I want to hone and further my skills. So one day, hopefully, I can get a full-time job. And they have so many videos that will help you teach Photoshop, Illustrator, Adobe After Effects, InDesign, literally everything. If you are really hesitant and you're just overwhelmed by just how to use these programs in general, Skillshare will be your best friend. And it's relatively cheap too. It's literally less than $10 a month. And even if that aspect turns you off, I do have a special link down in the description below. And if you use that, you are eligible for a premium membership, which gives you access to every single video on the website. So if you guys are interested, definitely check out the link down below. This year was my 4th time going to BA BookCon, and I think this was, I don't know, maybe my 2nd or 3rd favorites overall. I'm just speaking about the convention center overall, like experience and everything, and the events. However, events occurring outside of BA BookCon, like going out with friends and everything, was like really fun this year. I think last year was the best. This year was a very close first, but it's a second best. I did a lot of things in the city with other people that it was just really memorable and really fun and amazing, and I had a really great time. I really had a great time at BA too, but it was just different in terms of getting the books and arcs of what I wanted and stuff like that. There weren't a lot of books I was like keenly excited for. I didn't even actually know about until arriving at the event. Some of the things that I did this year that were really fun. It was my first time going to Coney Island and riding all the roller coasters and everything. It was really fun, but it was so exhausting. I was so tired because, at the end, BA and BookCon, it's just draining. And going to the amusement park is just equally draining, but it was still so fun. It was just exhausting, but still fun. I went axe throwing for the first time. That was really fun, and I'm actually not that bad at it, which is kind of concerning. I've hit, I think a couple bullseye. Kat was a beast. I think she hit so many bullseyes, and she had the most points of our whole group. So, don't want to mess with Kat. Boss ass bitch. I also went karaoke, which was really fun. A bunch of us went karaokeing, singing together, and on top of that, there was alcohol involved. So you can kind of imagine how that turned out. But it was really fun. Ate a lot of good food, went to Koreatown, visited this BTS store in Times Square. I forgot the name. Something with friends. I don't know. I'm not super into BTS, but I know most of my friends are. Actually, everyone is. Went to the store with all their merch, and it was the first time I found out that their, personas were in stuffed animal form, or in these cute creature form. I don't know what the term is called, but there's a set animal or something or figure for each member of the group, and there's also t-shirts and merch, which I thought was so cool and interesting and fascinating because I was just like, I wonder what kind of animal I would be. I don't know. Moving on. This year for Book Expo and BookCon, there were only literally two books I was most excited for, and I was just ready to just fight anyone out of my way to get these books. These 2 books. And in the end, I did not get those 2 books. So these 2 books, these 2 arcs, my most anticipated reads of the whole year, literally. The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern and Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, which is, suffice to say, on everyone's top TBR list of the whole year. And it was crazy trying to get to those 2 arcs because, I don't know. It's just, it can get crazy. And I did not end up getting it. I was just like, fuck this. It's okay. I'll just wait and just read from the finished edition along with everyone else, I guess. Aside from the 2 books, I wasn't really excited for any of the books, or I didn't really know what kind of books were coming out. Okay, so I guess we can go ahead and start going into the books. So The first arc that I got, honestly, I didn't even know was gonna be there. The only reason why I got it is because I was just wandering around the show floor and I saw this being dropped off at the exact moment, and I was just like, wow, I guess I'm a lucky bitch. And this book is Winterwood by Shay Earnshaw. The author also wrote The Wicked Deep, which I actually really enjoyed. I really liked her writing style. It's very atmospheric, very slow and very quiet and steady. I am actually currently reading this. I am 84 pages in. I kind of like it so far. It's very atmospheric. This book is about a girl who finds a missing dude who's been missing for 2 weeks in the middle of these woods that no one really goes into just because it's haunted. This whole world in and of itself is very whimsical, magical, realism. And this book also takes place in the same world as The Wicked Deep, which is really interesting. And so far, so good. However, the only aspect I am going to complain over is the insta-love, which I'm like, I can't relate. Hopefully in my life one day I can relate with this insta-love. See a guy drop dead and just being like, we're getting married, when's the wedding? So yeah, my whole BEA BookCon, this is the only book that I picked up physically myself at a galley drop. I guess you can say that I won BA BookCon this year in terms of getting only one book. However, that's not including all the books that I got at publishing events that I was invited to. I wasn't sure if I was actually even going to pick up these books because I didn't know anything about them. But if I was only going to count the book that I got at the whole convention center myself, it's one arc. So I guess you can say I kind of won at BA BookCon. So I guess we can go ahead and get into the books that I got from these publishing events. And also a couple of books that I got from friends because they didn't want it and they're just really nice enough to give it to me. And so all the books here, there are only 6 books. So again, I think this year at BA, regardless, this is like the smallest BookCon BA haul this year that I've ever hauled so far. This year, Fierce Reads had their event at the actual convention center. I think last year they had it away from the actual convention center. Ugh, I can't fucking speak. What was interesting and really simple in of itself is because we just sat down with a bunch of other bloggers, booktubers, and just bookish people in general. And so they would have different publicists like sit at our table, and every 6 minutes they would rotate and they would just basically talk about a certain number of arcs or books. And that actually got me really interested in a lot of them. And at the end of the event, they would hand out goodie bags. They would have several of these arcs that they talked about. Not all. They had like several, I think a good amount, like 3 or 4 of the arcs in these goodie bags. I actually had to swap out different arcs with other people because I was interested in them more. I'm going to go in like publishing dating order. I guess I can go with when the book comes out first. So I have 2 books that are already released. I think out to the public. 3 books coming out in September and 1 book coming out in October. So I guess we can just start with the September books. Alright, so the first book, I had no idea what this book was about when they first even talked about it. I'd never heard of it before. After the explanation that was given to me, I was so sold. I think this is one of my most anticipated reads, like right now. I want to dive into this immediately, and this is actually a graphic novel, which was surprising in of itself, and this is Are You Listening by Tilly Walden. So this graphic novel, it comes out in September, and it follows 2 girls who like have a chance encounter, and they decide to drive together through West Texas. And along the way, they encounter sort of like magical, whimsical stuff that they can't really explain, like a talking cat. Along the way, they sort of uncover and confront buried truths and secrets about themselves. Overall, extremely excited to read this, and this sounds just right up my alley. Even if it wasn't even like this graphic format, I would still be really interested in reading its, normal book form, but it's a graphic novel. I'm really interested in reading it. For now it's like black and white. I think that the final version might be in full color. So 2 girls, each with their secrets of their own, drive through Texas and encounter some terrifying and wondrous, whimsical, magical stuff along the way with a talking cat. Sounds amazing and wondrous. Okay, so the next book that comes out in September, and actually I was super surprised about this one because I actually found about this arc scrolling through Amazon, I think like a couple of weeks before BookCon and BEA, so I already knew what this book was about, and it was on my most anticipated reads of 2019. They showcased the arc, and they talked about it, and I was so excited and pleased to find out that this was actually included in my goodie bag, and this was There Will Come a Darkness by Katie Rose Poole. Plot really reminds me of Fairyborn by Claire Legrand, in which people don't know whether these 2 queens will either be their destruction or salvation. Similar to this sort of premise where these 7 prophets for generations have like guided humanity, and one day they just disappeared, and they left a prophecy stating that there will come a prophet that will either lead them to salvation or destroy them. In the course of the book, we follow these 5 different characters who will end up being the prophet that will either be people's salvation or their doom and destruction. And these 5 people are a prince, a killer, a leader, a gambler, and a dying girl. So this sounds extremely interesting, and I love the cover art as well, and this book comes out in September. Okay, the last book to come out in September, and I saw this cover, actually, on Goodreads, and I wasn't really too interested in it because it was a YA thriller, but then the author was there, and she talked about her book, and the publicist went around and even explained in more detail, and I was just immediately sold, and I'm so excited to hopefully pick this one up soon. And this is The 10th Girl by Sarah Ferrin. Pretty sure you've heard this book. It's included in a lot of book hauls that I've seen so far. This one is really interesting just because it has the aspect that it isn't following sort of like your regular normal like 15, 16 teenage girl. You're actually following a teacher who goes to this old boarding school in Argentina, and it's set around the 1970s, which again is another really interesting aspect. So it's like a historical mixed with like a creepy thriller vibe. And at this school for all girls, the 10th girl is missing, and no one really seems to acknowledge her missing presence, and the teacher is questioning everyone, but no one really wants to answer her. So it sounds really promising. It's really hefty as well, but people have said that this is extremely fast-paced. So really excited for this one, so we'll see how this one goes. So last but not least, the final book, and this one comes out in October, is Into the Crooked Place by Alexandra Christo. I actually have a book by her as well. I think it's called To Kill a Kingdom. I have not yet read that. I heard that this one was also pretty anticipated because this one is about sort of like, it has a Six of Crows vibe in which we follow a group of misfits who try to basically save the world. They're sort of like anti-heroes. They're sort of villainous and bad, but you kind of like love them at the same time. And basically they try to save their kingdom when one of the characters delivers like a vial of dark magic to her boss, and these misfits who are employed under this boss has to fight against him. My interest is piqued. I'm intrigued. We'll see. I'm not a fan of the cover though. Not gonna lie. Even though I've heard a lot of people gushing about the cover, I'm not a fan, so yeah, that's all I have to say about this. And I guess we're going into the last 2 books that I received, and these 2 books from 2 friends. So the first one is Dream Daddy. And this is based off on the actual game, which I have played, and I was so shook. I was so shocked. I didn't know they were making a comic book. So my friend, Janine from The Story Ain't Over, she kindly gave this to me, so thank you, Janine, for your copy of Dream Daddy. I played the game, and basically in the game you play this character, and you get to choose between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 daddy dudes, and either you can like do a hookup, one night stand, or in the long run get a boyfriend, eventually get married. So you choose between these 7 individuals, and I chose Robert. He sort of like has like this super haggard, like stubborn, rough, huskyish, this just sort of bad boy exterior, and he has a daughter. Wait, I can't remember if I had a daughter, if my character had a daughter, or he had a daughter. Either way, that just explains to you that I'm a really bad dad. Okay, we're just gonna move on now. Comic book just basically tells you the story and backgrounds of each of these good old dads and why you should root for them. So yeah, if I have to choose, my 2 favorites are Robert and Craig. Whew. This graphic novel is out now, and you guys should pick it up if you guys want to read it and also play the game. It's actually pretty fun. It's lighthearted. It's not really, NSFW in any case, I don't think. Not that I remember. So it's like a PG-13. Last but not least is a book that my friend Sarah from Sarah with an H gave me, and I read this book, I think, in like 2 days, and I fucking loved it. This one is A Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, and it is out already. It came out, I think, a couple weeks ago in June. I fucking love this book. Let me just tell you that I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. This basically follows a girl who works at a library with these grimoires who basically have a life of their own. One day, she gets implicated in a crime that she did not commit when a grimoire escapes, transforms into a monster. But she basically has to team up with her sworn enemy, a sorcerer named Nathaniel. And he also has a demonic servant. This in of itself gave me like Howl's Moving Castle vibes. And then when I read it and finished it, I was like, yep, if Howl's Moving Castle had a cousin, this book would be it. I really enjoy the world building, the writing style, just the magic system and everything about it. So Margaret's first book, An Enchantment of Ravens, I actually enjoyed. A lot of people gave it mixed reviews. A lot of people did not like it. Actually, I know for a fact that I think most of the people that I know did not like it or gave it 3 stars. I think I gave it 3 stars, but I enjoyed it. It was a good 3 stars. However, this was a huge fucking game changer, just a huge step up overall, and I thoroughly enjoyed this so much. It's a book that made me wanting more. World building and just the whole magic system and everything was just so intricate and unique that I wanted more from it. This is another aspect which I really love. It's a standalone. There isn't a duology or another book. The ending and everything, just everything about it just made me wanting more of the whole world overall. Like, I wouldn't mind another book in its setting, maybe like 1,000 years or 100 years before it or after it, whatever. But loved it, highly recommend. I've seen mixed reviews already, but don't listen to those reviews. Just go ahead and read this. It's amazing if you love Howl's Moving Castle, and that's basically, if you love that, go and read this and you'll end up loving it, just as I did, hopefully. That's basically it. I did not end up getting my 2 most anticipated reads of the year at the convention center this year, but that's okay. Another thing is, Erin Morgenstern, the author of The Starless Sea, was there. I got to talk to her and take a picture with her, and it was a fucking miracle, and it was just so bizarre. I made a fool out of myself. I don't really remember what I was talking to her about or saying. I guess I was just a really hot mess. I was sweating, and I was just disgusting. One of my favorite authors were in the same space. We breathed in the same air, and we took a picture together, and it was just phenomenal, and I was shook. She's just so special. She just wrote 1 book that I've read from her, and she's already one of my favorite authors, and she's just coming off with her sophomore book, Starless Sea. So excited for it. They actually had a copy on the table to just showcase, you know, whatever, and I was just so, not gonna lie, tempted. I wanted to take it for myself, but it was there, and it was just so close, yet so far I could not take it, but I did skim through it. I felt it. It was just beautiful. It added 5 years to my life, and it was just amazing and incredible. I also got to, like, touch and flip through the Ninth House book as well. That another 5 years to my life, so in all, you know, I came from this convention with just 10 more years added to my life, which was amazing and incredible experience. So that's pretty much it. Let me know down in the comments below if you have, I don't know, for any reason, read any of these books, or, you know, your most anticipated read of 2019. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you guys all soon with a new video.